Hi, I'm Kim Eddleston with FamilyBusiness.org, and it's a pleasure to be here today with one of our board members, Rania Labaki, who's an associate professor and the director of the EDHEC Family Business Research Center. She's also a family business fellow at Cornell University. She serves as an IFERA board member. She's also an advisor with Landsberg and Gersick and Associates, and co-editor of the Entrepreneurship Research Journal. Thank you for being with me today, Rania.
Thank you, Kim, for having me. It's a real delight to have this conversation with you today.
So today we're focusing on women in family business. So how would you say it's different for women?
So as we know, family businesses are like the predominant type of organization, and they are complex organizations. So women need to learn how to navigate multiple roles, because we have, of course, a management system, we have the ownership system, but we have also the family system, and those systems interact with each other. So women might have different roles, and they need to navigate those roles. And this also will lead women to have multiple identities. So they can, be at the same time owners in the business, daughters, wives, mothers, right? And at the same time also play operational roles. So it's kind of more complex than in other businesses.
What would you say are some of the blind spots and the bright spots?
So when we think about women in family business and leadership roles, for example, we can tell that women tend to be more playing emotional roles in the family business because traditionally, they have this sensitivity to help families deal with relationship dynamics and issues. But at the same time, they're kind of reluctant when it comes to power. Back like 3 decades ago, a researcher looked into family business women and asked them, how do they, view power? And for them, power was really like a taboo. So it's like a blind spot. So it's something that, connects with dictatorship, with manipulation, with unethical behavior. So then she tried to ask them, what was the last time they felt powerful as women? And then, that they unleashed, their minds and then said, it's when we are able to be free, to accomplish what we want to accomplish, and to have clear, goals and consensus among, the different members supporting us in the role we want to play. So power and women might seem like an oxymoron, right? But it's at the same time important for women to be able to accept themselves as being able to bring a lot to the family business through, achieving their power and exercising it accordingly. So that's one of the blind spots. Let's put it this way. The bright spots, I think we saw it, recently with the crisis. There are lots of, examples of how women in politics mainly were able to better navigate crisis and, and prove to be more empathic, but also more able to make decisions which are, in line with what the population needs are. So, so the bright spots, I think we are trying to figure them out right now. Some would even say it's the century for women. So the idea is really to put women on the forefront and to put down this taboo around power and women.
Very interesting. So what are some of the challenges you see women in a family business versus a non-family business facing?
Well, there are challenges which are common, but their intensity might differ. Keeping in mind that not all family businesses are alike, right? So basically, there are 3 different barriers that researchers have identified that, stop women sometimes from, reaching, top management positions. We know about the imposter syndrome, for instance. you know, when women in a way think that they are not worthy of the position. And we know about, you know, the glass ceiling, the fact that some women are, you know, less able to reach top positions, not because of their competencies, but because of, you know, just the fact being women. And we know also about the glass cliff. So when women manage to go over the imposter syndrome and, you know, the glass ceiling, they're often offered positions which are high risk positions. So they're put in a position, for instance, where they need to manage extreme crisis while having limited resources and support to be able to achieve the goals. And men usually tend to be reluctant to go towards these positions, and women are more, you know, willing to. So, so in a way, this position will, you know, will set the woman up for failure. Now, when it comes to family businesses, research shows that these different phenomena are less present in family businesses. And this could be mainly due to the fact that, you know, women are more supported because of their families, you know, in the family business. And although in some cases we might find, you know, a senior member who tries, you know, to put women aside because he wants to stay in power, but he could also put another, let's say, male successor aside because of this. This remains, you know, less likely than in non-family businesses, basically. So that's one of the differences, let's say. But in the same time, we need also to look into the bright side of it, because you know, research shows that women usually also go up to these top management positions because of sponsorship, you know, because of networks. And we know that in family business, you know, the sponsorship is kind of informal. We're not going to talk about, you know, bad nepotism. If you look at the, you know, bright side of nepotism, that might help. Still, family businesses tend to appoint women in board positions more than in top management positions. And sometimes they do so not based on skills and competencies. So research shows, for instance, that women in family business boards have less competencies than education. The education level is lower than in non-family businesses. So it's important for family businesses to keep this in mind, and, you know, rather to think about the gender quota more wisely and based more on competencies.
So how can family businesses make a difference for women in the workplace?
Family businesses can play a big role, not only because, you know, they represent the prominent form of organization, but also because they can really lead the way, lead by example. You know, like the latest World Economic Forum report on gender shows, for instance, that we need another 100 years for us to close, you know, the gender gap. So how can family businesses do that? Already we know that they apply better the regulations regarding gender quota than non-family businesses. And we know that they have good connections with the communities and the political networks. So they can really push the policy agenda by, as I said previously, setting the example, but also perhaps also being ahead of, you know, those regulations, and also, you know, supporting researchers, you know, in analyzing what goes on when women are on boards or in leadership positions. So we really have, you know, studies showing that those women, you know, perform better, and those women really contribute to the society. Because we know from research at large that women, you know, when they operate in good institutional environments and they are present in boards, then the performance is higher, or the financial market performance on the long term, you know, environmental proactiveness, CSR, and so on. So first of all, family business can, you know, play their role in this direction. But also, you know, family businesses can support women in terms of providing them with the skills needed and helping them also in flexible roles, because reaching this family and work-life balance is kind of complex, especially when women have multiple overlapping goals in family business. So it's important for them also to support this kind of agility and flexibility and that endeavor, and also as I mentioned previously, to set the gender quotas based on competencies rather than just to have women in there. So these are like three main avenues for family businesses, but there are also many more, but also it's about coordinating with other family businesses to push the agenda all together.
All your work with family businesses, are you finding that a lot of them are trying to get more women on the board, or trying to seek help in how to better support women?
I've been doing research since 20 years now already. And so if I go back in time, when I used to interview family business members and even read biographies, of family business CEOs and founders, we can barely see reference about an important woman who made the difference in the family business. Now, even when I do interviews over several hours, no one would refer to women. And then it's only when I ask the question, then they say, aha, yes, indeed, we had important women who played an important role for us in the family business. So now I'm seeing more and more the next generation trying to make a difference, because let's not forget that if we have those women stereotypes, it's because also women used to support them, because it's all about how we were brought up since childhood, how the socialization process has been done. So women were in a way also supporting those gender issues, and I think that the next generation now is more aware and want to break these patterns and move on more serenely. So the future in family business is for women, right? I think, but also, I think it's important to keep in mind the balance and the gender representation. So it's not about pushing the extremes; it's about having a balance.
So a last question: are there some particular leadership styles you think women in family business should pursue in order to be more successful?
Well, there has been lots of debate regarding, what are the leadership styles of women and how effective they are. And some research showed, for example, then that transformational leadership is mainly, by women. Recent research back in 2018 has shown, for example, that women actually have a special type of leadership that they called gynandrous leadership, which means it's about women blending, female and male attributes in their leadership, with some, predominance for feminine attributes like empathy, for example, but keeping them in a way both present at the same time. So instead of alternating between, for instance, assertiveness and empathy, having both in the same time, and transcending, those different stereotypes about women that exist. So this seems, one of the leadership styles that women can adopt and can help them, take the best out of each, female or feminine and masculine attributes.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Professor Rania Labaki, for all your insight today, and really inspiring. And I think you certainly talked about how things are getting better for women in family business, and also how family businesses can better support women and recognize the important roles they place in the business. So thank you so much. Again, this is Kim Eddleston with familybusiness.org and one of our board members, Rania Labaki. Thank you.
Thank you.